Yo, what up everybody, it's Anime Junkie and welcome to part 6 to What If Deku Was Iron Man, and now let's get to the intro.
Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Writing, trying to get myself a lamb color cuss for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane. And the story filled with flames, will be fun to my brain. Bringing more, please still, no glory.
Okay guys, last time we left off, Deku just brought the full Avengers to the meeting, and this is before the Infinity exam, or before class started, and he basically explains to everyone that these three girls will be joining the Avengers, and it's gonna be Momo, Uraraka, and the Invisible Girl. A lot of people said that they wanted Suyu inside of the Avengers because of her flexibility and her frog quirk. I think that is a good choice, and I think I should do it. But I don't think Deku actually knows who Froppy is and her quirk, so I think that will happen later on into the story, and when he actually realizes that Froppy is really useful in the Avengers. So let's go to the Infinity exam. Aizawa basically walks into the class, and he basically sees there's like two less kids in the class, and he's like, why isn't everybody here? It's class time. This is like 5 minutes after everybody's supposed to be here. And then all the students basically walk in after Aizawa, and Aizawa basically shouts us like, why aren't you here? Why were you late? And he was like, oh, we were talking about the Avengers project. And he's like, oh, you could have done that after. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. And basically Aizawa basically tells everyone that we're having a fitting exam and we're skipping orientation, so put on these sports uniforms and head to the fitness field. And everybody's like, okay, let's go. And as soon as they get there, Aizawa basically tells them, okay, you guys are taking this way too easy and way too nice, so I'm gonna basically make this harder on you, and I'm gonna say the last one who comes last place is gonna get expelled right on the spot and today, and never be able to come back to UA ever again. Everyone was shocked at this, and they were like, okay, we need to try super hard and basically utilize our quirk at max potential. So Aizawa basically throws a ball to Deku and basically says, okay, so you got first place in the practical exam and the entry exam, so you're gonna basically go first. And he basically tells him, use your quirk, and he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he basically taps on his arc reactor, and basically his suit basically comes out of there and completely covers his entire body. And basically, instead of actually throwing it, he actually creates a mini cannon on his arm and basically shoots out the ball at a really high speed and basically goes flying into orbit. And Aizawa was really surprised at this, and he basically says infinity because it's in space and it's not going to come down, and it's just going to be floating up there, so it's infinity. Then everybody else goes after that, and Uraraka also gets infinity, so Deku and Uraraka actually make a tie. Momo does actually get infinity again. I mean, not again, but Momo does get an infinity because she actually knows a lot of Stark technology, and if Deku could actually create a mini cannon with his suit, just like in the moment, I think Momo would actually know the cannon that she can create to actually launch a ball into space and orbit. So I think she would have as long as she needed, or as long as she wants, to actually create her cannon from Stark Industries, and it basically says Stark Industries on it. And everybody's like, oh wait, isn't that a cannon from Stark Industries? He's like, oh yes, that's a model. And Deku basically says, oh yes, that's model like 5 or something. And then she basically shoots it out, and it's even faster than Deku's, but it does end up getting infinity because it reaches orbit and out of space. So the next race is, or the 50-meter race, is basically Deku over there, and he's not going to be going at his full speed because 50 meters is not actually long enough to basically make Deku's engines go to their top speed. So I don't think 50 meters is long enough for Deku to actually gear up in his top speed. So his top speed is really amazing. It's basically somewhere close to, it's more than the sound barrier, breaking the sound barrier level type of speed that he has. So, but that's like the speed that he needs to have when he's like flying for a long time. So let's say he ends up getting like 2 seconds, maybe 1 second, close to that, and basically he does get first place in that one too. But Aizawa basically asks him, is that his like top speed? And he's like, no, it wasn't, but I need more length, or basically more area to basically cover and reach my top speed. 50 meters is too small or too short. And then they basically proceed to the other tests, and Deku does do amazing in that. And let's say Deku gets first place in the entire fitness exam, and everybody's surprised by this because like, and some people out there is like, well, they don't say this out loud, but they do think this is like, wait, he had the help of his suit. That's not his actual quirk, isn't it? And Deku knows what they're thinking, and he's like, well, technically this suit is my quirk because it comes out of this arc reactor which is implanted inside of my body, so technically it is my mutant quirk, mutant slash transformation quirk. Now you might be asking, wait, what about Steve Rogers where he has that full cowling quirk, or not full cowling quirk, he has one for all, what about him? Well, he does have full cowling, but not as a large amount of full cowling to actually rival Iron Man's suit. So, well, he does have that, and he does get somewhere close to second and third. He's pretty close to Ida in speed, or somewhere close to him, or maybe even above him. He might actually have like 10% control. I think that's enough because he's still a child. He's not an adult. He's not the same Steve Rogers as Captain America in the actual Marvel. I mean, if he was, he would be able to probably control 100% of One For All already. So yeah, so the fitness exam basically ends, and basically Aizawa tells everyone that about the expelling thing, that was only a joke. It was just to make you guys use your full powers in this exam. So they basically go home after that, after the fitness exam, and they basically do more studying in school, and then they leave. So the next day, or maybe 2 days after, they basically arrive at school, and All Might's their teacher today, and they're doing the assessment. This is the hero versus villain assessment. All Might basically goes outside, picks from like a random box of villain team and the hero team, and basically Ochako and Deku basically get paired up, and Ida and Bakugo get paired up. So it's two Avenger teams basically versing each other. So Bakugo and Ida, like, they already know from knowing Tony Stark, like, as childhood friends, because Ida is Deku's childhood friend, and Bakugo is also Deku's childhood friend. So they basically like two childhood friends versing old friends or something. And then they both know how smart Deku is, or Tony is, and his suit is really useful and strong compared to both of their quirks. So they know to basically take him down first and then Uraraka later. So as soon as they're basically talking about this, a laser basically comes through the basically floor, and it cuts a hole through the hole basically falls through the multiple holes in the previous floors downwards or downstairs, and basically Deku and Uraraka come flying out there. Uraraka basically holds on to Deku because she is not as strong as to basically make herself float right now, because that happens later on in the story. And let's say because of joining the Avengers, Uraraka does have a positive effect on her, and she does want to get stronger with the team. So let's say she does end up learning how to make herself float before the Forest Training Camp, or maybe before the sports festival. So they basically come flying in. Ida knows what to do, and Baku also know what to do. I mean, they were surprised and shocked, but they're like, okay, this is the best chance ever that we're gonna get to take down Deku. So both of them charge at Deku. Deku basically throws Uraraka over them because she's pretty light, and she made herself light, so it's easier to throw her over. And Ida's like, oh crap, she's gonna get the bomb. Bakugo doesn't care. He needs to go for Deku, and he will basically think that Ida is probably gonna go for the girl. And then Deku basically just charges up with his speed and basically grabs Bakugo, chucks him at Ida. Ida basically falls on the ground, and Bakugo's on top of him. They basically try to get up as quickly as possible. Deku already gets to them and completely freezes them with his liquid nitrogen gun or gauntlet, whatever. But it's the same liquid nitrogen that Iron Man used to seal up the hole in the basically Thanos' ship when he basically laser cut a hole inside of it. So yeah, so both of them are completely frozen. Todoroki basically sees this, and he's like, oh, so he also has like ice powers. Well, it's not technically ice powers, but it's nuclear, or not nuclear, it's liquid nitrogen and stuff. And Uraraka basically floats there and grabs the bomb, and done. They won, and he outsmarted both of them by actually surprising them with that laser surprise attack and shocking them and completely taking down them in minimum time and less effort. So All Might actually basically praises him for that. It's like, good job, you didn't really fight that much, and you took down the enemy really efficiently and quick. So after that, Momo basically hugs Deku and he's like, oh, good job, and then they basically walk off, and every person or every guy over there basically is like, oh damn, he's so lucky. So yeah, I'll basically start the USJ arc in the next part, and I hope you guys like, because it really does help the channel out. Make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and as always, Anime Junkie out.